great day on the glacier. It was one of our hardest days, and yet it wasn't that hard at all. It's not even cold, but the clouds are moving in, and that gives me a little bit of pause for concern.
Art said he's not too tired. I am.
This is it.
The end of the day.
The end of the day, end of the glacier for today.
Voila. We are on Marconi Pass, and this place is famous for the winds. And although it's really nice right now, the lenticular cloud building up over the mountains, I think, is an indicator that winds are on the way. This is my second favorite view that I was hoping to get, and it's the northeast view of Mount Fitz Roy and Serratori. As you can see by the light on the mountains behind me, it's pretty flat. There's a very thin veil of clouds obscuring the sun. But as I look to the west, there's a big gap in these clouds, and I suspect in an hour or so, things could really drastically change.
Regardless of the atmospheric conditions, I'm always shooting because you never know whether a tiny break in the clouds will suddenly reveal a mountain or close in, and that's the last shot of the entire trip. So I'm always shooting, expecting those shots to be the last, but invariably, it gets better and better and better. Working in southern Patagonia, you're basically in what they call the roaring 40s, the lower latitudes where winds come racing across the southern Pacific some 2,000 miles unimpeded by any land formations, and they literally slam into these jagged peaks that rise thousands of feet out of this very narrow isthmus of land. It was bound to happen that the weather would catch up with us, and now it has.
The weather is pretty wicked. We've got a fairly long trek to our destination. It's probably about a 5-hour hike.
Today is a very long slog on a very big glacier.
Today is like the moon day. Everything changes. We're walking on the ice cap, so it's a huge terrain.
Art, look at the horizon right now. You can't even see the difference between the snow and the sky.
This is the closest environment that I can remember to Antarctic. It's just so flat and limitless. It's amazing to me to walk out here in this great expanse. It's almost impossible to judge distances. I know that we're going to be heading another 3 hours down to camp, but I look ahead and I can't even fathom how far that is in terms of the mountains. It's kind of a great feeling to be out here in such a wide open space, and the only people you see are the people you know. Our main objectives, the views of Fitz Roy and Serratori, are cloaked in heavy mist. In this part of the world, if the weather clears, it's an amazing sight to see these mountains come out of all the mist. And if it doesn't happen, okay, this is not the end of the world.
Unlike Art, I don't get to do this too often. We'd be pretty disappointed if we don't get a good view.
Based on what I see and my experience in the mountains, I don't think we're going to see the mountains for at least a day. And we're appropriating enough time to give it at least 3 days. And after 3 days, if it doesn't clear, we're moving on.
It's amazing how the weather at Patagonia always is taunting and teasing you. They give you little glimpses of these great mountains through these clouds. And sometimes those views open up to a grand vista. More times than not, they close back in.
We finally have arrived at a spot that we think is perfect for Serratori and Fitz Roy Based on what I see on the horizon, I think we're going to need all the 3 days that we've allotted here. This is a very exposed place, so we're going to create a wall out of blocks of ice.
You arrive at a place where you think the mountains will be stunning if the weather clears. You build your wall of ice, you erect your tents, and you hope the following day the weather will, in fact, clear.
I'm absolutely ecstatic. This is a view that I've been waiting years to see and years to photograph. It's unbelievable how miserable the weather was yesterday and how clear and perfect it is today. Just to see Fitz Roy and Saratori rising right out of this vast glacier, it is perfect. What I'm concentrating on is just doing the rock and the ice on top of Saratori. And with a polarizer, I'm darkening the blue sky, so there's a beautiful contrast. Clouds really lend an element that makes these mountains that much more intriguing to my eye.
The west view of Mount Fitz Roy and Saratori is everything that I had hoped it would be. These mountains just rise out of this ice cap, unabated in these vertical walls of granite. I can't think of any landscapes on Earth that match the dramatic vertical rise of these great mountains.
It takes a lot of work to get here. It absolutely takes a lot of work. And then you have to have luck, perseverance, and it pays off eventually.
This is fantastic with the light, the way it's playing off these rock faces, the glacier on the bottom, the blue sky behind it. It gives a nice, really dramatic effect with the light. You know what I love about this composition is just the cleanness of the granite, the blue sky, so perfect. I like the way the ice just rims each one of those pinnacles. I love the way these things just jut up in the sky. They're so uncompromising. So few climbers have ever stood on the top of that mountain. When you think of Everest, who's been climbed hundreds and hundreds of times, you know, this mountain has had a handful of people on the summit of it. It's extraordinary. And that's just indicative of how wild Patagonia is, how inaccessible it can be, and how harsh the weather can be at times. There's an allure, there's a draw, there's a magic about mountains. It's really comforting for people to realize that there's places on this planet that are untamed and raw and wild. My photographs are intended to remind people that places like Mount Fitz Roy and Saratori exist. I'm Art Wolfe. Join me next time on Travels to the Edge.
This program and 2 additional episodes from the series are available on DVD for $17.95. An award-winning book of Art Wolfe's landscapes featured in this series and beyond, Edge of the Earth, Corner of the Sky, is available for $65 plus shipping. To order the book or DVD, call 1-800-440-2651. You can find out more information about this episode and other destinations in the series by visiting our website at travelstotheedge.com.